Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show. Welcome, everybody. Fun times. Oh, we got chat right away. Fun. Let's address that. Calls on Papa Dave's show are so similar. It really is a pattern, our human nature, and how we do things, and that means audio is working. When you hear double me, I know you enjoy that because you can't get too much of me talking, right? Let's see what on how we do things. Yeah, there's only going to be so many money questions, and so you know that you just got to get used to that. That it's only going to be so many questions, and then you get the ones like that last one, where it's just basically human stupidity, where you would think that they would want to treat children equally, but that often doesn't happen. Often again, we talked about coddling in the Ramsey Show chat earlier. And when, like, for example, the brother is lax on paying off his share of the college funding, the college loan that parents took out, when he doesn't do that, he's being coddled. They should not be asking for more money from the daughter that apparently is already paid up or just about paid up or probably over, I think they said. And then so they just coddle that kid, which doesn't help that kid, because that just enables bad financial behavior when you coddle people that do bad financial behavior. And so, and that doesn't help. And then that alienates the good daughter. And, why would you want to do that? But parents do get nutty. Aslan says, I think it's because we all have the same kind of problems we always had. We've always had, Mila. That's correct. As well, again, there's only so many money problems, money issues that you can have. I mean, it can be on all different kinds of stuff, but it's still either just consumer debt spending or, on car loans or whatever. Or, too much house, for example. Alrighty, so that was a good warm up with the chat. Aslan, almost pronounced it incorrectly. Aslan says, hi, everyone. Paraphrased her. She said, hello, everyone. I am Coach Steve Money, and you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And if you type that in, you'll get to this home page. And for my financial content, you just scroll down past the Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist. And below that, the music playlist, which has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including one called Lifestyle Creep. Instead be a widow. Why the heck are you in debt? You don't belong there. You don't belong there. Little pitchy dog at the end. Gotta have music. All right, so that's my upfront plugs and market report. And let's as it says, S&P 500 drops here, and it obviously didn't. It popped up to barely being in the green at the end of the day. Oh, and they did change it. You see right there, it now says barely changed. And that's fine because green is better than the pink here, or the red arrow. The volatility index is just the volatility index, how volatile the market was that day. Dow Jones down not quite 0.5%, 0.43. Again, 0.014% for the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ up 0.26. And so I'm guessing maybe NVIDIA had some good news for us. They reported today. Let's see. It's got to be on here somewhere. NVIDIA earnings outlook top Wall Street forecasts as CEO Jensen Huang touts light speed AI advances. Well, you gotta love that. So if both the earnings from last quarter and for the rest of the year, if that is topping Wall Street forecast, what people think it's going to make, and it actually does that, then that's going to be good. Let's see. Let's take a look and see what they reported at 4:20 p.m. So after the market changed, so you see they were still up. Yeah, they were up all day today. You can see this dotted horizontal line down here is where the stock opened at or ended at last night, and then it opened higher, I guess, with people thinking that it was going to be good news or leaks or something like that. You never know what goes on at the Wall Street. And so right at 413 still, and then as soon as it was announced, 421, it shoots way up here. And then somebody saw that price and said, oh, well, I'm going to sell it. More likely they had a computer programmed to do that, to sell automatically if it gets to this type. That's just the day trading stuff happening there. And so you can see where it did. But it eventually did end up going up considerably from the close of the day. So, up 1.84% at the end of the day. And 3.67 during the day, and so that's what 5.51%. I've done math correctly, so not today, dementia. So and that can pull up the whole market for tomorrow. Just one stock like this can do it. Now you don't invest in single stocks, of course. For retirement you invest in managed mutual funds in the 4 categories: small, mid, large, and caps and international. Back to what else do we need to do here? Oh, I needed to have an excuse to do my accents and stuff. Let's check on the rest of the world in the market here. Everything up in Europe, mostly up in Asia. As far as the currencies, the US dollar above the euro, down to the Japanese yen though, down to the British pound low, the bloody quid. US dollar up on the Canadian dollar, 2 days in a row, sorry. And the US dollar up above the Australian dollarmite. So the United States said nar. They do both over there. Some people just do the no, and then I think that's how it started. Is people were saying, because like a lot of the older people say, no, like that, just like a N-A-O, no, like that. But then now the kids, they always have to change something. We talked about that in the Ramsey Show chat too, where somebody mentioned cash stuffing, and that's just what the kids on TikTok started calling it. It's the envelope system that Dave Ramsey has been talking about for 30 years. So they just needed to name it something different so that it could be theirs, I guess. But so the younger Australians, I guess, started adding an R on the end of that nay. So now it's nar. So fun times. Or something about their mouth just made them say that, and then it caught on. People are nutty. Let's just check on crypto. Way down from its 105,000 something high. Let's see. What do we got? 6 months still up 31.40% though. So, you can't say that they didn't make that money, because they did make that money if they sold before it went down so much. But in 1 month, you can see it's down 20%. The last month. So not looking good. Let's look at the 5-year on that, and then you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to see it. Bam, drop, fast recovery, drop lower, longer time for it to come back. And then way up to the high right there, and then it's like, and then it's like falling off a cliff right here at the end. So And we haven't seen the Bitcoin people in this week anyway. Haven't seen them in so much. I think there was one person. But of course, I probably have a lot of the crypto bros blocked, so I wouldn't see it anyway. Anything else to talk about? Let's see. Salesforce, I don't really care about that. That's not that exciting. Dell on, what is that? Tomorrow. Most followed single stocks on Google, still some down. And as I said, the market, all of the market was down. So I switch back to that. All of the market was down earlier today. It all was, but the Nasdaq was the least down, barely down, and so that one ended up being up the most when the uptick happened at the end of the trading day there. Let's see, what do we got? Looking around my camera and the light on the camera that illuminates my beautiful face. Microsoft, Amazon, and the Meta were the ones up. Tesla down. Tesla's been on a losing streak lately. And so, that could be, whether that has anything to do with Elon's involvement in the government now, don't know. Of course, Tesla had its problems long before that, so unsure about that. And I guess that's it. Oh, I guess we could check the futures. Yeah, the futures up, but not the Dow. Not up. And that's so far. All this can change. All of this can change because the futures were all down yesterday, and we ended up finishing with a higher S&P and NASDAQ. And that's it. I don't have any article. Well, I guess we can look at the articles really quick, see if there's anything interesting. NVIDIA, we already talked about. Federal Reserve's favorite recession indicator is flashing a danger sign again. Yeah, hey, got a great idea. Why don't you do some work on that instead of being so careful to try to not hurt anything that you're hurting things more? How about that? That would be my advice for the Fed. They do not ask me for advice, though. So you can't come back on me on that. Woman died mid-flight. Her body was seated next to them. Yeah, that happened apparently. Had to stay in the seat the entire flight. I guess they don't have a system where there's like somewhere else bodies can go. I don't know. Costco announces 9 new stores opening in 2025. What recession? Yeah. What bad economy? So Costco, and that'll be where more people can work. How about that? HUD, Housing and Early Urban Development, I think, are from an AI real estate firm and a mobile home operator. All right. And you could argue that's a conflict of interest. But, so is Nancy Pelosi knowing stuff about stocks and then, and her husband investing right before a big law is passed that changes things. So there's all kinds of stuff like that in the government on both sides. So, yeah. Let's see. Let's check on the chat. I know I've talked way too long without responding to the chat. Sometimes they talk amongst themselves, which is fabulous. Robert Crumb says nothing new under the sun. You're correct. Thank you for your comment, Steves. Yeah, she puts an S on the end of people's names for some reason. That's fun. I change up names too, so I can't say anything. Also, all abbreves are approved, so I can't say anything about that. Let's see. You would think that collectively we would wise up, but nope. No, we wouldn't. And people don't let the fact that Dave has been giving this advice for 30 years, and he's probably more popular now than he ever was. And so you would think that would give him some cachet, but not so much. Most people, yeah, is the whole problem. The whole problem with the baby steps is that, oh, to do, okay, I'm going to do this stuff. Oh, wait. So if I have to do $1,000 start emergency fund, if I have to pay off all my debt, oh, then I can't go out to eat every night. You mean I have to give up some spending? Yeah, people don't want to do that. So most people still will not do this advice. And so we are the weird ones that are doing it. And you just have to embrace that, and love it. Embrace the weirdness. That'd be a good t-shirt. Embrace the weirdness. Mila trying to get out of Vegas. Oh, moving Vegas to California, jumping from the frying pan into the fire, Mila. What up, Sid? Friend boss person opened his self-directed bank account and freaked out because they didn't show up to the minute performance. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't do that all the time. And all his funds were Dane. Yep. Mila said exactly. Tell him, Steve, 2 minutes ago. So I guess I was saying something she agreed with. Thanks for the support. The last caller actually overpaid her parent by about $20,000. This is into the area of real money. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I would say whatever else they think you owe them money for, I would say that covers it, and I would just bounce out of there. I would just spin move out of there. You just, as I said, you just say, okay, peace out, we're good. Check Google Trends on Dave's name. All right. How do you do? I don't know how you do that. Google Trends. Trends. Can I just do Dave Ramsey on this, or do I got to go to that page first? I've never done this. Dave Ramsey. That's going to be a nar on this, or do I have to, is trends an option here? Nope. Okay, let's try Google Trends. It would take forever for her to answer me, I think. Google Trends, okay, and so if I go to that main page, there we go. Dave Ramsey. Apparently, other people are more important, though. Interest over time. Oh, I guess you get, let's see, when are the high points? February 26. 26. Oh, this is all the same day. Oh, this is all today. Okay. I don't want today. I want that one. Embed. You can only get the one day. And Wyoming would be the winner for him. All right, Wyoming. Oh, here we go. I found it. Sid's probably screaming, hey, look at the filters, idiot. Let's do past 5 years. So I guess, nope. So I guess I was wrong about that. I get, and probably like December 27th to January 2nd. So that's your New Year's resolution, people, possibly there. It also might take an uptick other than just people searching for him. If he like gets in a tiff with somebody or somebody else, the rich dad, poor dad guy or somebody else, calling out his advice. When the rich dad, poor dad guy, it's been a while since he's called for a complete crash of the market because every time he did that, it didn't happen. And so he used to constantly do it though, but he hasn't done it in I think about over a year now. He hasn't done that, and that's why him wising up. So I guess not the highest. So again, and this was what? Come on. 2020, yeah, 2020 to January 2021. That appeared that amount of time, and since then, no, it's, I mean, I would say it stayed relatively the same. The on his not his most recent time away from the show over Christmas and Davecation combined. But the previous one, they got their highest YouTube numbers on a show he wasn't on a show that other personalities were on. And so what happened since then, who knows? All right, that was fun, Sid. That's good content. Yes, at the top there's a past date drop down. Sid, how long after you type that I do it? Oh, I might have been doing it at the same time. So good call on me to just go ahead and try to look for it. Let's see where we are. Good question from Mila. Whoa, hey, what happened? I didn't do that. Give me back my chat. There we go. Must have clicked on something on the chat. On accident, as the kids say, and even adults say incorrectly. Mila says, so do feather dusters actually pick up dust or just lift it back into the air? That is a good question. They relocate the dust, Aslan says. Aslan said, yes, we were just saying that, not as harshly. December 2020 is Pandy, right? Plus New Year's. That seems prime for a spike, indeed. Indeed. All right, so that was that's a fun segment. I mean, I'll use that for something else sometimes when something else is trending. You can see, you can track the trending on it. But we can do some questions now. We are on reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. And it's not run by Ramsey Solutions, it's run by fans. And so people can comment non-Dave advice, and we had a question yesterday about non-Dave advice right there. And he was mad that it's Dave Ramsey, and so I don't know if he was under the impression this was run by Ramsey Solutions or not, where they might be, more strict about that stuff. But I don't know that they delete, even in the Facebook group that they do manage, the Ramsey Baby Steps community. I don't know that they take out every non-Dave advice comment. Let's see, comfortable hat, 4855, Mr. Hayat from South Park. Mortgage, 130K on mortgage, whatever percent. I hate paying $400 a month in interest. So should I pay off the loan? Yes. I max out 401k, Roth, and 80K emergency fund after paying 130K mortgage. Okay. Well, okay, maybe that's like paying the mortgage payment. So this is badly worded, but let's take it to mean he means he's maxing it. So you should not be maxing out the Roth and 401k if that is more than 15% of your gross income, because all that extra money should be going to the mortgage. So you see, theoretically, this person is no longer funding the emergency fund, and 80K is enough, is what I'm going to take this to mean. And so step 3 is done. So you are on step 4. Congratulations. And so that's when you would begin investing 15%. It doesn't say invest more than that. It does not say that. So if it doesn't say it, don't assume that you should do that. The idea is that you are only doing 15% so that you can get step 5 done if that's applicable. So you can get step 6 done if that's applicable. So we don't know if this person has children. But we do know that he has a mortgage, and so you would not be investing more than 15% if you have a mortgage. You also wouldn't do any extra brokerage account savings or anything like that unless it's for some kind of purchase that you aren't going to make for 5 years. Then you can have a brokerage account for that, even while paying off the house. But I mean, that would have to be something significant, like you're planning on moving up in house, but you still wouldn't do that before paying off the house. I'm trying to think of something it would be, it's just like the normal sinking fund, like saving for tires or something like that. Something that's that's definitely happen, and you just want to save the money and make as much as you can on it. And so if it's 5 years away, which most things like that you wouldn't do for 5 years away, because 5 years, who knows? 5 years you're saving for tires. You may need a new car by then. Who knows? So generally everything extra other than the investing for this person, assuming no children, that would go to paying the house off early right there. And another one, this from Plain Manx 15, mortgage or buy outright. I'm looking to purchase a second home. That would be a toy, my friend. And so that's a step 7 thing. $250,000. I have the cash to buy it outright. I'm not sure if it makes sense. Here are the deets. $250,000 cash with $75,000 down for a mortgage. There's no mortgage if you have to buy that in cash. Sorry, no mortgage. It's a toy. Second house is a toy. No mortgage on that. Over 15 years of blah, 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 blah. Don't care about any of that because they're not doing that. Leaving it in the bank, you're not going to do that either. If you're going to buy it, it's going to be in cash. So we're not trying to min-max, and we're not just using calculators to make our decisions, are we? This person is, sounds like. The financial bros do. If I move it to my IRA, again, you would not be doing, I have no other debt. Otherwise, my main home and cars are paid for, so that's fine, but you do not get a mortgage on a second home. That's a no. If you don't like the one you have and want to move to the other one permanently, that's fine to move up in house, but you pay cash for a second home. Otherwise, you're doing what you want to do and you're not following the Ramsey advice, but since you bring up the calculator being involved in this decision, you're probably less likely to be following the Ramsey advice. And that's fine. I fully support. You make the money. You have to live the life that is a result of your financial decisions. So I fully support you not doing the Ramsey advice. I just think that's the best thing that you can do. Sibs use Reddit. All right. Feeling discouraged. Don't be discouraged when you realize it's hard to take courage. What is that? True Colors, Cyndi Lauper. Not today, dementia. Hello all. My wife and I started our Ramsey journey in May of 2023 and I'm starting to lose steam. These last few months, have brought on several emergencies that are going to set us back potentially years. I want some advice from those who have been able to push through this sort of thing. To give some background, my wife and I did college the exact opposite way than what Dave suggests. Of course you did, because you're normal. It's fine. We've all done normal crap. And we both graduated with $60K in loans, right? So $120 total if you're keeping score at home. We got married in 2020 and moved into a dirt cheap slum apartment and started slowly working to pay off our debt, but in a very Dave-ish way. Of course you did. In 2023, we took FPU and started going gazelle intense. Literally, a month after we, didn't notice the ellipsis there, a month after we bought a house. Oh, okay. So you buy the house and then say, oh, crap. I guess we should do something about our finances a month after you buy a house. Good job. Good job. Better late than never for sure, but maybe a month before that would have been better, and then maybe you don't buy the house and don't have as many issues. Yeah, so we didn't do that days wait, right? I sold a bunch of stuff. Great, that's what you got to do. And my wife and I both got raises that helped us go down to where we owe about 32K now. Two loans at 13K and one loan with 6K. Okay. If everything went perfectly, we could have been debt free this year. All right. And so if that's the only debt you have, yeah, that's still not bad. Emergencies aren't fun, but that's still not bad. Unfortunately, in December, our furnace died during a cold snap. We had to have it replaced immediately. No other solutions at all other than having it replaced immediately. I understand if it's winter time, maybe you don't have any other options than that, but you should at least just not jump right to it and not do the first estimate, because the first estimate guy, he could be trying to swindle you. And that put us back $7,900. That might be about right. Lucky for us, we had $6,000 for baby step 1 because we were doing it wrong. Knew we were in for long baby step 2. If you're in for a long baby step 2, then you got a problem. If it's going to be more than 2 or 3 years, that's when you need to sell the car instead of keeping it and paying it off. Otherwise you got, whatever else you have to cut down. You got to cut stuff down, so because it should be only taking 2 or 3 years. You're trying to keep too much stuff generally if you are going to be in it for more than 3 years. Then in January, I filed taxes, and guess what? We owed $3,500 to Uncle Sam. We claimed literally nothing and had $28,000 in deductions after interest on our house. Loans and tithe, just barely under the limit for itemized deductions. Okay, that does suck. But I mean, as of more recently, the standard deduction is better for most people. You have to be in that particular situation, and you were just short of that particular situation where it would make sense to do itemized. Then this month, my boss informed me, everyone, that we would not be receiving bonuses this year. Okay. He previously mentioned to me, #mentioned, shout out Matty Bags, to me multiple times that I would be getting 6 to 8K as I'm part of the executive staff. I know I shouldn't have counted on the money. That's correct. You are correct. As guaranteed, but I did receive a bonus the last 2 years. Not this much. So I thought I could count on it again. That's a nar. Did we not see Christmas Vacation? Did we not see Christmas Vacation? So if you haven't, spoiler alert, Clark was counting on a bonus. He didn't get it. I won't ruin the end for you, though. It's been out, since the 80s, so it's not a spoiler at this point. It's your fault for not watching it. Watch it. Definitely by next Christmas if you haven't seen it yet. To top it off, our insurance on our house has increased so much over the last 2 years. Okay, so it's not like a boom, boom, boom. All this stuff is happening at the same time. Some of this stuff is just increasing, like where insurance gets higher. Just some of this is just inflation, and so you just have to adapt. If during the pandy, or like even now with eggs, if something gets too expensive, hey, buy cheaper stuff at the grocery store. You have to adjust to the situation in the world. It's not going to be the other way around, and you saying, oh, well, it's just the situation in the world. That's not a pass for you. You don't get a pass on math for that. I feel so discouraged doing everything by the book except the 1K emergency fund. That's right. And so I don't see, none of these are emergencies. You not getting a bonus shouldn't be an emergency. That's your fault. I mean, basically all of it is your fault, except the furnace dying. But maybe you could have done something to lessen the cost of that. The taxes thing, I mean, the $3,500, that does suck. But, you have X amount of time before April 15th when it's due. So you would just have to save that up and put less to the debt, apparently. So we've never had car payments. Great. We don't eat out hardly ever. Well, maybe you need to make it none. We don't go on extravagant, probably meant extravagant vacations. You shouldn't go on any. That should be 0, a donut for vacations. On baby step 1, 2, 3, person needs to listen to my song, How to Do the Baby Steps Right. And that would be in the music playlist. And that specifically addresses the $1,000 in the emergency fund. It's, what is it? Something for that sum. You don't, I can't remember. It's something like you don't add more to that sum to the $1,000. And so that explains that and other things that people do wrong in the baby steps, whether it's on purpose or on accident, as the kids say again. Decent job, 120,000 before taxes. Where the money going? I need to see the budget on this. I would need to see the budget, and I bet I would be able to cut out a lot of things, especially these non-extravagant vacations. I haven't been, I mean, and some people could just be talking that way. It could just be extra explanation. Maybe they don't go on any vacations, but they just call it extravagant to make it have more words and give more color to it or something like that. Who knows? I haven't been putting into my retirement since I started this. Well, that would be following Mr. Ramsey's advice. Congratulations. And then it's starting to stress me out as well. Tough. You can either follow the advice or not follow advice. You doing half measures here doesn't help you at all. I've started to look for a second job to work evenings or nights. Fabulous, but my wife has vetoed that, as we will literally never see each other if I do that. You'll never see each other. Justification station here, exaggerating. How do I maintain hope in this? How will we ever be able to have kids? You can have kids. It doesn't stop. The process is not stopped by money. I'm 27, and even getting to baby step 3 seems like a pipe dream, let alone putting 15% in my retirement. Edit, we take home, there we go, about $7,500 after taxes each month. Also, the student loan interest rates have maxed out at about 10%. They were initially around 3%. Home interest rate is 6.5%. None of that matters. What matters is where that money is going. And so where the $7,500 is going. And since you bought the house pre-Ramsey, there's a good chance that that might be too much house for you, and that selling it would be the advice, but he doesn't give the numbers on that. So that could be a big part of where the 7,500 is going. So you wouldn't want to put, like, say, half of that to your freaking mortgage of a dumb house you bought before you found Mr. Ramsey. So would have to have more information on that. But feeling discouraged, you just have to realize you're doing it wrong and do it right, and figure out where the problem is and stop doing that spending and stop that behavior. So I know it's difficult sometimes. It's not fun, and that's again why most people will not do this. So you even doing it halfway or a quarter way or whatever you're doing it, I mean, that's better than most people, because most people, the second they realize, I had in my first Financial Peace University class, I had a person in there, and she was like, I'm not giving up my Starbucks, and I never saw her again. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. What do we got? Mila says, Papa Dave number 2. Yeah, I appreciate it, but I'm not anywhere near that good. Too many ums for one thing. Aslan had to bounce. And she called me Dave number 2 as well. That's funny. Oh. Says the hub's having a hard time, so I'm crunching numbers on a sooner quit date for him. Said always running the numbers. Good thing to do. Alrighty. What time is it? Okay. Plus the time does get away from me because, as you know, I can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Plus glove, 48.50, 90K in student loan versus $20 an hour. I've done a lot, but feel so stuck. Okay, so similar kind of thing here, I guess. I've straightened out a lot financially, but it still feels inescapable. Do we have more? Yeah, we do. Let's go ahead and open her in a new tab. Still feels inescapable. Okay, let's see. 5K savings. That would be a nar. That would be a nar. You're already doing it wrong. When you're already doing it wrong on step one, you're not setting yourself up for a good time. Where are they at? There they are, the baby steps. Look, it says save $1,000. Does it say save more than that? It does not. Of course, it doesn't say don't save more than that either, which it probably needs to. And it's not gonna, because then, I mean, you got this nice graphic here, and you don't want this to be a 5-page, it would be a 7-page PDF to one page for each step to like explain all the ways that people misinterpret these steps. 2013 car, driving until his death, saving up for a new one. Okay, and you shouldn't be doing that either. No, there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't matter. My car is from 2005. Guess what? You don't do that. That's a no, 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 no. You're doing it wrong. CS degree for 2.5 years, working $20 an hour in IT. Well, I mean, was that worth it? We don't know, but doesn't say how much that cost. 60K federal debt, maybe. So that would go to the first of the list if that's IRS debt. I don't know what federal means. Oh yeah, student loans. I got you. Yeah, 90K. Yeah, so is 90 worth it? I mean, you should have checked into that first, so that would be a mistake that you made. And so you don't get to blame the world for that. You have to blame yourself for that. Like so many times, the problem is in the mirror. And so you have to take responsibility for that, and you have to fix it. The private didn't stop during COVID, so that's why I haven't been paying on it throughout. Pause/save. Yep. Studying /search takes up the time I'd use for a second job. A+ and network plus. I mean, if it doesn't cost that much, and it will increase your income, but hey, I got a great idea. Look into it better than you did before to make sure that it's going to be worth the cost for those certificates. You would think generally that it would. No other debt. Great. Paid for credit cards off. Fabulous. Live with folks. Apply. So you can't, you on $20 an hour, you can't make any headway. Not paying any, well, might be paying some rent. I don't know. Apply to all other computer services. Jobs in the area, no offers. You can check remote. See, maybe you can do some remote stuff part-time. Thought process is hammered down private, put federal on IBR or ICR once saves dead. You do smallest to largest. So that doesn't affect it. You would do the private ones anyway because that's smallest. I mean, and if they're individual smaller loans than these and you just lumped them together, then you can do them separately or by the private first and federal. I don't really care about that. That's not the important thing. The important thing is, where's the money going? If you live with parents, where's the $20 an hour going to? Where's it going to? But it's so much, even with cutting restaurants and limiting purchases. So how about you cut it completely, restaurants completely, and don't buy anything that's not 100% necessary to live. It feels like climbing a cliffside. Actual goals, family house, seem impossible. What should I do? Well, again, I would need more information to see where all your money's going, since you may not be paying rent, or you're not paying what you would if you lived on your own. And so I'd have to see where the money was going. So, I mean, I guess if I guess you could be paying off. It also depends on when. Oh, for 2.5 years. Um, you're still doing that one, or you got it? If you got that one, again, you would think you would be making 20. So again, I would have to clear that up. 49 comments. Not gonna see if he made that, if he what he meant by that. So it's so nutty when people word things incorrectly so that I can't understand it. But yeah, if that's with the degree, then obviously you probably might not have wanted to go in that line of work knowing that this was going to be the case. But I do want to know where the money's going, since you live with folks. And props to you for not saying living at home. Um. So yeah, on that, you just gotta buckle down. You just gotta, and not keep 5K in savings. You live with your parents. You live with your parents. What's the extra 4K emergency fund doing? What's that doing? What's that? Oh, is that part of that? The saving for a car? No, you're doing it wrong. So, and since he's doing that wrong, he's probably doing, even though he says he cut out the restaurants and stuff, that doesn't mean he doesn't have 8 different streaming services, though, that kind of thing. Throwy, and of course that could be something with the parents as well, though, where like instead of rent, he's paying for the subscriptions and they all use it. That could be possible. Who knows? So yeah, I don't have anywhere near enough information to give other than just the general advice for that. Which means follow the baby steps correctly would be the answer, as always. Always. Throwy0903, what would you do? All right. Not what would Dave do. They want to know what you would do, the individual person. And I almost certainly will do what Dave would do. 3 credit cards, and 2 of them, excuse me, have crazy interest, like 28%. Those both have 3K and 4K balance, respectively, and my third card is 0% until July and has 11K balance on it. I'm planning to use my tax return to pay towards one of these cards. Yes, and if it's a big tax return, we'll adjust your withholding so that you get that money during the year, so you can make progress on the baby steps faster rather than giving the government an interest-free loan on the money. Tax return to pay towards one of those cards, but don't know if I should focus on paying the 0% card off before all of the interest from. This is constantly on here. Interest doesn't matter. So you see, if you look on here, it says baby step 2: pay off debt from smallest to largest using debt snowball method. Debt snowball is smallest to largest. And here it just says pay off all debt except the house using debt snowball. And if you hit learn more, it mentions the smallest to hashtag mentions the smallest to largest. So, the little interest rate that you put down there, that you were diligent on putting down, and people think it matters all the time. It doesn't. Pay the 0% card off before promo go into effect. And if you're so worried about that, why did you get a 0% interest card? Why did you get another card? What would you do? I typically gross between 68 to 7,500 month, but I'm 100% commission based, and things have been slow, so I've been average about 6,500 gross the last 4 months. Okay, where's all that going? I started living on my own, on your own, last year for the first time, and despite it being so awesome, everything is awesome. Shout out MO. I have really struggled to learn how to manage my money. which is exactly why you need to not live with parents, so you can come across this early in life, so then you learn to manage your money. So that so that's where a bit of this credit card debt has come from. Yep, it's from you. I mean, you're managing it. You're managing it. You're managing it incorrectly. So, and the debt doesn't happen unless you buy dumb stuff, which you shouldn't buy if you're buying it on debt. It's a dumb purchase. The majority of the 11K was balance transfers. Yep. And guess what? Even though it's 0%, they still charge you a fee. So that puts you more in debt. That was all off the dome. That would be a good song. I'll have to see. I'm sure it matches some pop song that's out there. I'll see if I can. I won't remember any of this. Yeah, so you're already in more debt by doing that because they charge you a fee up front, even though there's no interest. You got to be smarter than the banks, unfortunately. I got a great idea of paying it off with no interest, but I failed at execution. It's not that difficult. If you say, I'm going to pay this off before the deadline, then you just do. How hard is that to do? Sounds like spending problem may be happening here. And just, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a quote-unquote spending problem. It could just be not being intentional. So a written budget would be advised. That's part of Baby Step 0. I went from paying $700 to $800 a month for many, many years living with other people to now paying $2K a month for an apartment. Yep, that's a lot. Hey, get a cheaper apartment next time the lease is up. That's unfortunately leaving about the average for any apartment in my area that isn't a complete dump or unsafe. All right, a lot of people say that, and it's just not as nice as your 2K apartment, and I wouldn't expect it to be. I would expect it to be, the price to be relative to the neighborhood it's in and the condition it's in. And guess what? You can live in one of those apartments and be safe, and you can make it look nicer very cheaply as well. And so, this is, most times when they bring up this kind of stuff, it's just they're exaggerating. This is what we call a little train stop called justification station. Whoop, whoop. ETA, due to my terrible spending habits. Yeah, you got to cut that out first. I ultimately spent all of my savings last year and most things that weren't necessary. Exactly. Oh, edited to add, I guess that means. I figured it out. See, I'm nowhere near dementia. I'm fine, kids. I might forget something every once in a while. So yeah. What would I do? I would do the baby steps in order. I would do them correctly, and I would get that spending under control. So, the second you realize that, oh, I don't have the money for this, oh, I'm going to buy it anyway on a credit card or something like that, your adult brain has to step in and say, what you doing? What you doing? M3 Chan 1C47. What point do you use your emergency fund for emergencies? Because you forgot to budget Christmas is not an emergency. Because you spent more than you planned on in your budget for Christmas is not an emergency. Because you see something you like, because something's on sale. None of these reasons are an emergency. I had a tire on my truck break a belt while driving home. All 4 tires do need replacing, but I was planning. Oh yeah, okay. We've had this one before, and like I said, they do switch places sometimes. Like in the same day, they sometimes switch places, and so we did have this one. But see, this is the thing, and people just fall into this stuff. So you have a tire on the truck, break a belt while driving home, right? Okay, great. Guess what that means? That means you need 1 tire right now. And if you need a car to get to work, you can consider that an emergency, but you need to buy one tire. It can be a used tire too. But no, you go to the dealership or wherever you go, even if it's Walmart or like a mom and pop shop that has decent prices, that kind of thing. They're going to tell you that oh yeah, you should replace all of them. Or even if you think they all will need to be replaced soon, that doesn't mean they all need to be done at the same time. Now, they will tell you that crap too. But guess what? I've never done that, and I am fine. But was planning to replace them when spring fully came, and I had the cost budget bucket completely filled. Yeah, and you still do that. You fix the emergency. You don't go ahead just because you're replacing one tire now. You don't need to replace them all. See, that's why people are nutty. They get this stuff in their head, and they just I don't understand. I don't understand. They can't think about things logically or something like that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it. Well, I gotta get tires. Yes, you do. Eventually, you will need to get more tires, for sure. That doesn't mean you need to do it now. You are saving for it with a cost bucket. That is the right thing to do. So you know what that means? That means you go in an emergency fund for one tire. And then once you get the cost bucket completely filled for 3 more tires, then you do that. I have a fully funded emergency fund. Do I use it to pay for them, or do I put it on a credit? Do you put it on a credit card and fully pay it off before any interest accrues? If you can pay it off before interest accrues, you just wait and get the tires then. People are so dumb. It's just all that stuff is just normal. They're just trying to stick to normal stuff, and the Ramsey advice is not for normal people. Sorry, you have to change and be weird. So, people are nutty. What time is it? Let's do one more. Spiritual Aioli, 1675, wondering where a second home fits in the baby steps. Well, we already had one of these questions. That would be baby step 7. Baby step 7 is where that would be. Second home is a toy. Vacation home is a toy. So we ended up buying my mother-in-law's house so that she could stay in her home after my father-in-law passed. She doesn't make enough on Social Security and disability to be able to afford to pay it herself. We're happy to do it, and the situation doesn't put us over the 25% mark as far as a monthly mortgage payments to income ratio goes, even with our own home mortgage in the mix. Okay, wouldn't have been advised. She could have moved down in house, but I get it. I mean, that gives her a lot of grace. It's very nice of you to do. But if that's not a non-sustainable thing, see, then that puts the pressure on you to not be able to do a second home. So, yeah, again, that's going to be in step 7. So you're not going to have any mortgage on your own house. Or now your mother-in-law's house. You can't have either of those mortgages under the Ramsey advice and buy a third house with a mortgage. That has to be all cash. Ratio with a home in the mix. I'm inclined to treat it as debt outside of our main home mortgage. You can. And probably should, yeah. Since you've already done it. Thus setting us back to baby step 2. Yep. I mean, I would think about it that way as well. I'm just curious to get a feel for me about what you other Dave followers might do. The amounts owed are $39K at 4% on our house and $25K at whatever percent. Okay. Only 25. I mean, that's not bad either that you can get out of this. You can probably get out of this. Doesn't say how much you make, I don't think. Doesn't say how much you make. But where it fits in the baby steps, I see what you're doing. You're trying to act like that's a vacation home for you or a second home that you bought, but that's what you bought. You bought one already. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it fits in the baby steps. It would be, the answer is baby step 7, of course, after you have yours paid off, but you didn't do it that way. And if you're intent on paying for both of them, you would just pay for them, and the amounts owed still are not crazy. And so, yeah, and especially since mom's is smaller, yeah, I might get that one paid off first. I maybe Dave would say pay your own off first. I don't know. But if you treat it as baby step 2, then that would certainly come before paying yours off first. And so, the you bailing mom out would not have been the advice probably, unless you could do it in cash and pay it off immediately. All right, and so we'll do the debt-free screen comment here. Is that someone just made my last payment? Oh, okay, there's someone doing it here. Great. So we'll do that tomorrow. All right. You are watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you, even you, if you have money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/coachstevemoney. The link's in the ticker below, also in the video description. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com if you have any questions about financial coaching or anything else that's on your mind, anything on my YouTube channel, anything else. I do a lot of different things on there. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, CashApp $CoachSteveMoney or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, this stream until further notice, Monday through Friday, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time is when the Ramsey Show is done on YouTube for that day, and that's the time I will start. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, that would be the thumbs up button. And you don't have to smash it. You can just lightly graze on it. If you smash it, it could break your equipment, and I'm not liable for that. So just touch it as much as you need to get it to register. Much appreciated. Where was I at? Subscribe, like, and comment. And if you've done that, that is fabulous. And thank you so much for that. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.